If you have ever had that uncomfortable feeling that something in your relationship has changed, even without clear evidence, this video might help you make sense of it. Before getting into it, take a second to subscribe and like this video, not for me, but for yourself. Understanding how relationships and human behavior work can help you notice warning signs before they become obvious. Here is the reality: many men assume cheating happens suddenly, like a storm out of nowhere. In fact, human behavior is more gradual. Emotional changes usually leave behind small signs, subtle changes in mood, behavior, and interaction, that appear long before anything becomes undeniable. The problem is that when a man is deeply in love, he tends to protect the relationship mentally. He explains away the changes, thinking she's just stressed, busy, or overwhelmed. But when attraction fades, secrecy grows, or emotional distance develops, it almost always shows up in behavior. From years of observing relationships, one pattern stands out: when a woman begins investing emotionally or romantically elsewhere, she rarely says it directly. Instead, her behavior changes in quiet ways that leave her partner confused. This isn't always about intentional harm. People are good at separating their emotions. Someone can still care about you while gradually redirecting their attention elsewhere. That inner conflict often shows up as guilt, irritability, and emotional distance, which eventually affect everyday interactions. The risky part is that many men overlook these early signs. They dismiss or rationalize them, allowing small changes to grow into bigger issues before addressing them. Often, there's a sense that something is off, but it is hard to pinpoint exactly what. The objective here isn't to create suspicion but to highlight common psychological patterns that appear when emotional focus begins to change. Recognizing them helps you move from guessing to clearly understanding what is happening. The first sign is easy to miss because it happens gradually. Her energy toward you starts to change, not suddenly, but little by little, like a dimmer being lowered. Conversations may feel shorter or less engaging, and the interest she once showed in your life may fade. Many men respond by trying harder, sending more messages, planning more, giving more attention. But psychologically, when a woman's emotional energy starts going elsewhere, it naturally shifts away from the relationship. You can think of emotional energy like a battery. When it is being invested somewhere new, there is less left for the existing connection. That's why the earliest signs often show up as emotional distance. She might still spend time with you, talk, and even laugh, but something beneath the surface feels different. Her warmth may seem reduced, affection less natural, and enthusiasm slightly diminished, not because she suddenly dislikes you, but because her attention, the foundation of attraction, is being redirected. What often follows is confusion for many men, irritation. Small things that never mattered before begin to bother her. Your presence may feel less welcome, jokes don't land the same, and you're left wondering why it feels like she's slowly pulling away. The reality many men overlook is this: when someone feels emotionally torn, their mind naturally creates distance as a way to ease guilt. That distance often appears as coldness, impatience, or a little sense of detachment. In response, many men try to seek reassurance, believing it will restore the connection. But reassurance doesn't solve the deeper issue, understanding the behavioral change does. And when a woman's emotional attention starts moving elsewhere, another pattern tends to emerge, one that is easy to notice but often misread. All of a sudden, she becomes more private. While personal space is normal, there's a clear difference between healthy boundaries and secrecy that signals emotional withdrawal. It often begins with small changes: her phone turned face down, messages quickly deleted, or responses that feel vague or rushed. On their own, these actions may seem harmless, but the pattern they form is what matters. When someone's attention is being directed, the brain instinctively protects that new connection, sometimes without conscious awareness, creating a kind of emotional shield around it. You might notice her becoming more guarded with her phone, locking it when you enter, or brushing off questions about who she is talking to. At this stage, many men begin to second-guess themselves. They convince themselves they're overthinking, avoid appearing insecure, and ignore their instincts. But those instincts exist for a reason. The brain constantly reads small signs, tone of voice, body language, and emotional changes. When those signs no longer align with the proximity you once shared, your mind starts looking for an explanation. It's important to realize that secrecy isn't always about hiding a specific action, it's often about protecting a new emotional bond. In psychology, this is known as emotional compartmentalization, and it can be a strong indicator that attention and loyalty are gradually shifting. Here is what that looks like in practice. When a woman becomes emotionally invested elsewhere, their mind separates different parts of their life to keep them from clashing. One part holds the current relationship, while the other holds the new connection that feels exciting or validating. To maintain that separation, boundaries begin to form. Privacy increases, routines change slightly, and conversations that used to be open may start to feel closed off. As time goes on, another confusing behavior may appear. Instead of simply pulling away, she may become more critical. Small habits or traits that never seemed to matter before now start to irritate her. You might hear comments like, "You have changed," or "You don't understand me anymore." In response, many men try to fix the situation, overanalyzing their actions and seeking approval. But here's the psychological reality: the mind struggles to hold two conflicting feelings at once, loyalty to a partner and interest in someone new. To reduce that tension, it begins to focus on flaws in the existing relationship, a process known as cognitive dissonance. As a result, minor imperfections start to feel magnified, and her internal narrative may slowly shift from valuing the relationship to questioning it. While constructive criticism is normal, constant, harsh criticism without any effort to resolve issues often signals that her emotional focus is moving elsewhere. Many men react by putting in even more effort, trying to earn back approval and closeness through validation. However, this approach rarely fixes the underlying distance. Over time, the final, and often most subtle, sign begins to show: her priorities start to change. What someone values most is reflected in how they spend their time, attention, and emotional energy. She may begin to seem constantly busy, cancel plans more frequently, or appear mentally absent even when she's with you. The real difference isn't just in her schedule, it's in how present she feels. Conversations may seem strained, replies shorter, and what once felt natural now requires effort. This shift often creates a quiet sense of anxiety, as if the relationship is gradually slipping away. When emotional focus shifts elsewhere, the relationship can begin to feel more like a responsibility than something she actively values. This doesn't always come from bad intentions, it's simply that the mind is naturally drawn to what feels new, exciting, and affirming. That's why these four patterns: emotional distance, secrecy, increased criticism, and changing priorities, tend to appear together. It's important to remember that any one of these behaviors on its own could be explained by stress, personal challenges, or normal fluctuations in a relationship. But when several of them show up at the same time, it often points to something deeper happening beneath the surface.